Today's topic is reliability and validity from the subject research methodology. Measurement is the assignment of numerals to objects or event according to some rule. A numeral is a symbol used to distinguish object from each other and has no quantitative meaning unless we give such a meaning. The rule of measurement is called scales. Characteristics of a good scale. A good scale should have defined continuum, reliable and valid. The various factors to be measured must be logically interrelated and should be in the form of continued measurement rather than stray facts here and there. Reliability. The test of reliability is another important test of measurement. A measuring instrument is reliable if it provides consistent result. This is if if we measure the same set of objects again and again with the same measurement. Instrument and we get the same or similar result, in the measurement is called reliable. According to a good and at, a scale is said to be reliable when it will constantly produce the same results when applied to the same sample. According to Kerlinger, reliability is an accuracy of a measuring instrument. We have method of test of reliability. We have the following four methods to test the reliability of a scale. They are as follows. Test retest method. In this method, same scale or test is applied twice to same group of persons. The score obtained in such cases resetted and correlation coefficient between these two set of scores gives the coefficient of reliability. Greater the value of correlation coefficient, greater is the reliability. This reliability coefficient is also known as stability coefficient of scale. Method of test of reliability. Parallel form method. In this method, two forms of same test are applied to same group of persons. Correlation coefficient between two set of score thus obtained gives the measure of reliability of the test. This is also an index of equivalence form of the test. Split half method. This method is used to find the internal consistency type reliability. In this method, the test score is divided into the two equal halves. One half consists of odd number items, example 1, 3, 5, and other half consists even number items 2, 4, 6. Score obtained by a certain group of person in two types of items are recorded. Correlation coefficient computed in between two set of scores gives reliability of half test, and the reliability of whole test is calculated by using Spearman's Brown formula as follows. Reliability coefficient of whole test is equal to 2 into reliability coefficient of half test divided by 1 plus reliability coefficient of half test. A test is divided into two halves and the correlation between these two halves is found to be 0.68. Find the reliability coefficient of whole test. Solution. Here the reliability coefficient of half test is 0.68. Reliability coefficient of whole test is equal to 2 into reliability coefficient of half test divided by 1 plus reliability coefficient of half test is equal to 2 into 0.68 whole divided by 1 plus 0.68, 0.8095. Rational equivalent method. This method also measures the internal consistent type reliability of the test. In this method, reliability coefficient is calculated by using mean, standard deviation and proportion of person giving correct answer. Reliability coefficient of test is equal to n by n minus 1 sigma square minus summation pq divided by sigma square, where n is number of items, sigma is standard deviation, and p and q is the proportion of the person giving correct and wrong answer. The modified form of the rational equivalent formula of reliability coefficient is as reliability coefficient of test. N summation square minus mean n minus mean divided by summation square n minus 1. Reliability and length of test. If we repeat the measurement, we will get more accurate results. In the same manner, if we increase the length of the test, addition of items, this will be corresponding increase in reliability. According to Spearman Brown, the following mathematical relation holds in between reliability and length of the test. Reliability coefficient of latent test n into reliability coefficient original test divided by 1 plus n minus 1 reliability coefficient of original test. Validity of scale. A test is said to be valid if it measures what it is expected to measure or what it claims to measure. According to Baker, validity is a property of a measuring instrument that you want to test. According to Smith, validity is defined as the degree to which the researcher has measured what he has set out to measure. Validity is concerned with the meaningfulness of research components. When researchers measure behavior, they are concerned with whether they are measuring what they intended to measure. Thus, the IQ test measures intelligence. Thus, the examination actually predicts successful completion of a graduate study program. These are questions of validity, and even though they can never be answered with complete certainty, researchers can develop strong support for the validity of their measures. Types of validity. There are four types of validity that researchers will consider: external validity, construct validity, internal validity, statistical conclusion validity. External validity or sample. Related to sampling, to what extent a sample is representative to the population of interest. Size, stratification, method of selection, random probability, selection of true population, etc. External validity is the extent to which you can generalize the findings of your study to other situations, people, settings, and measures. In other words, can you apply the findings of your study to a broader context? The aim of scientific research is to produce generalizable knowledge about the real world. Without high external validity, you cannot apply results from the laboratory to other people or the real world. Construct validity or measurement. Construct validity evaluates whether a measurement tool really represents the thing we are interested in measuring. It's general to establishing the overall validity of a method. What is a construct? A construct refers to a concept or characteristics that can't be directly observed, but can be measured by observing other indicators that are associated with it. Constructs can be characteristics of individuals such as intelligence, obesity, job satisfaction, or depression. They can also be broader concepts applied to organization or social groups such as construct validity. Most of the social parameters are abstract and their measurements are therefore not possible to measure directly. To test the measure such social parameters, we use construct validity. The following steps are done to test the construct validity. First, we measure the construct, determine whether all scale measure the same characteristics. For this, we compute correlation coefficient between different measures, confirm the scales really measure our scores with a certain characteristics of our interest. Construct validity types. Face validity. Face validity refers to the degree to which an assessment or test subjectively appears to measure the variable or construct that it is supposed to measure. In other words, face validity is when an assessment or test appears to do what it claims to do. For instance, read through the paragraphs and decide that it seems like a good measure of reading ability. Subjective judgment is needed throughout the research process, but the aforementioned method of validation is not very convincing to others as a valid judgment. As a result, face validity is often seen as a weak form of construct validity. Content validity. It is the representative of measuring instrument as regards to the content the substance, the matter and the topics of the universe dealt. It is required to measure how well a certain person can has mastered certain skill or area of study. Content validity continue. Content validity is a qualitative means of ensuring that indicators tap the meaning of a concept as defined by the researcher. For example, if a researcher wants to test a person's knowledge on elementary geography with a paper and pencil test, the researcher needs to be assured that the test is representative of the domain of elementary geography. Does the survey really test a person's knowledge in elementary geography, or does the test require a more advanced knowledge in geography, that is topography and their effect on climate, etc.? There are basically two ways of accessing content validity. Ask a number of questions about the instrument or test, and or criterion related validity. It is studied by comparing test scores with one of the external variables to measure a phenomenon under study. The external variable is called criteria for comparison. Criterion related validity is the degree of correspondence between a test measure and one or more external reference criteria, usually measured by their correlation. This approach leads to two categories of validity. When the criterion occurs in the future, we talk about predictive validity. If the prediction is used in the sense of forecasting, that is to future performance on the criterion, the validity is the predictive validity. Predictive validity refers to the ability of a test to measure some context, event, or outcome in the future. On the other hand, if it related to performance at the time when the scale is administered, it is called concurrent validity. When the criterion exists at the same time as the measure, we talk about concurrent validity. Concurrent ability refers to the ability of a test to predict an event in the present. The previous example of employee salary is an example of concurrent validity. Thus, predictive validity is concerned with how well the scale can forecast a future criterion, and concurrent validity with how it can describe and present one. Concurrent validity and predictive validity. An example of predictive validity is the use of students' BE entrance and plus 2 scores to predict their successful completion of an BE program. Another example is to use students' these scores to predict their GPA in a graduate program. We will use correlations to assess the strength of the association between the entrance and plus 2 scores with the criterion, that is GPA. Convergent and discriminant validity. The construct validity can be best understood through two construct validation process. First, testing for convergence across different measures or manipulation of the same thing, and second, testing for divergence between measures and manipulations of related but conceptually distinct things. Convergent validity tests that construct that are expected to be related are in fact related. Discriminant validity or divergent validity tests that construct that should have no relationship in fact do not have any relationship. The basic difference between convergent and discriminant validity is that convergent validity tests whether constructs that should be related are related. Discriminant validity tests whether believe unrelated constructs are in fact unrelated. Internal validity design. Internal validity is the approximate truth about inference regarding cause effect or causal relationship. Thus, internal validity is only relevant in studies that tries to establish a causal relationship rather than other most observational or descriptive studies. The key question in internal validity is whether observed changes can be attributed to your program or intervention. Conclusion validity analysis. Conclusion validity is the degree to which conclusions we reach about relationship in our data are reasonable. It is one of the most important four validity types which is relevant whenever we are trying to decide if there is a relationship in our observations, and that's one of the most basic aspects of any analysis. Threats: reliability of data, statistical power used, need of control over our ability to critique relationships and conclude with some suggestions for improving conclusion validity. Measure of validity. Measure of validity is taken as index of reliability, but index of reliability is defined as the square root of coefficient of reliability. Measure of validity, index of reliability is equal to square root of coefficient of reliability. Length of a test of validity. When length of the test is increased or the test is administered for a number of times, there will be corresponding increase in validity. The relationship is validity of length in test is equal to n into correlation between test score and criterion score divided by n plus n minus 1 reliability coefficient. Method of validity test. Following are the general criterion of validity of a scale: logical validation, non-opinion, jury group, independent criteria. Logical validation. According to this principle, a scale is said to be valid if it stands to one's common sense. But this method is not reliable because it is greatly influenced by one's subjective view. Non-opinion. In this method, instead of a common judgment of a group of person is used. This method is superior to previous one because it is less subjective, but still it can't be said to be completely free from biases. A large number of people are not necessarily free or biased in their opinion. Jury group. In this method, a scale is administered to persons who are belong to a particular category and the results are then compared with the known facts. This method is very much similar to logical validity method, therefore has more or less the same weakness as in the case of logical method. Only difference in this case is that we have to uh, depend upon other knowledge and facts. Independent criteria. In this method, a scale is tested on various variables. If all or most of the tests shown the same results, the scale is said to be valid. For example, the social status of persons are tested on various factors, that is economic status, education, sociability, etc. if the scores of them are similar. So this was the video. So thank you for watching.